Yes, good afternoon. First of all, on behalf of MOFCOM, I welcome all of you to today's press conference. Thank you for your interest in Car Expo and Carbis. Since the beginning of this year, the outbreak of COVID-19 global-wide has caused a major impact on global trade and investment. However, the China and ASEAN region countries continue, and their trade relations continue to develop, and trade volume continue to expand. And now, please allow me to brief you on the situations on this regard. First, the trade volume continued to rise. The China and ASEAN countries are building channels to facilitate personnel and equipment transportation and trade, and continue our momentum for building the Belt and Road relations and stabilize the industrial chain. From the first 8 months, in the first 8 months, the total trade volume is up by 3.8% to reach 465 billion RMB, accounting for 14% of the total trade volume of China. And ASEAN has historically become the biggest trading partner of China, and we are actually the biggest trade partners of each other right now. Second, the investment relations is also developing. In the first half of this year, the total investment reached 6.2 billion yuan, up by 53%, accounting for 76% of all the Belt and Road countries. The total investment volume is up by 55%, and ASEAN countries has become a key destination of investment, boosting economic development and employment in both regions. 3. Digital economy cooperation continued to intensify. New industries and business forms actually emerged from the outbreak of COVID-19. So this digitalization and digital economy continue to become a hotspot in the bilateral cooperations. This year marks the first year for the digital economic cooperation, and digital platforms and many other projects are conducted to further strengthen cooperation in terms of digital economy. Fifth, the regional free trade zone continued to expand, and this year marks the 10th anniversary for the establishment of FTA, and which is a great boost for the convergence of Chinese economy with that of Asians, and it has now been upgraded. The Lancang Mekong and Greater Mekong area and 4 areas, as well as the free trade area, cooperation continue to expand, and it is important for us to advance this Belt and Road initiative, strengthen interconnectivity, and upgrade our regional development and cooperation. We've made major achievements in which Expo and Carbis played an important role in the past years. In the last 16 years, Car Expo is a great boost for the development of our free trade area and serves as an important platform for trade cooperation, and has strengthened the capacity cooperation between these two regions and helped the Chinese companies to explore overseas markets. It is also a boost to the Belt and Road initiative, bringing real benefit to people and businesses on both sides. The 17th Expo will be held On November the 27th to 30th in Nanning of Guangxi, and under the background of normalization of COVID-19 prevention, the convocation of Car Expo and CABIS will further promote this regional economic resurrection and boost the strategic cooperative partnership between the two sides. Against this new backdrop, China is more than willing to work with people and countries from all sides to use Car Expo as an important platform to boost trade relations and upgrade industrial chain supply chain and advance economic integration in our region in order to contribute to the economic development across the world. On behalf of MOFCOM, I welcome all of you to join us in Car Expo in November, and we hope that you can continue to support us in the arena of trade relations between these two sides. Now let's go forward to Mr. Zhang Shaogang. Friends from the press, good afternoon. It's my great honor to join you in this afternoon's press conference, as well as my colleagues and the Assistant Minister of Commerce. Just now, Mr. Li Chenggang briefed you on the bilateral trade relations of China and ASEAN, especially the new development of this year. I hope that you can have a better knowledge as for now after his introduction. Now please allow me to talk about the preparation of the 17th Car Expo and CABIS. We know that this year is an important year in terms of our bilateral cooperation for China and for ASEAN. This is the year of digital economic cooperation and also the 10th anniversary for the establishment of China-ASEAN Free Trade Zone. The last 10 years witness remarkable achievements. So this is a major year for bilateral cooperation. However, we are now faced with the challenges of COVID-19. However, we still see the surge of the trade volume and a very positive trend in terms of bilateral trade. Therefore, it is of great significance for us to host this Car Expo at a special period of time. This Expo will be held on November the 27th to the 30th in Nanning of Guangxi. And after taking into full consideration the requirement for COVID-19 prevention, we have streamlined this process, and it will be held both online and offline forms. So the topic will be centering around digital economy and Belt and Road. We will be inviting representatives from China and foreign envoys of the ASEAN countries and all the business representatives to attend such an expo. We will also be focusing on the following point. First, Laos will be the chair country of this expo. Since 2019, we began to hold this dialogue conference, high-level dialogue, and the leaders of these countries will be carrying out dialogue with the representatives of businesses, and it's first time for the leaders of Laos to attend such a dialogue, and they will be having a video conference to talk to the local business representatives, and Chinese businesses will also be using this opportunity to know more about the business environment in Laos, thus facilitating the development of major projects. Second, we'll be holding this Business Leaders Forum of China and ASEAN. This year is the 10th anniversary for the establishment of the FTA. We will be inviting entrepreneurs, business leaders from China and ASEAN countries to talk about and discuss their experiences in the last 10 years and their projections of the development of the COVID-19 and business development against such a backdrop. They will also be talking about digital economy, e-commerce, in order to further upgrade the construction of CAFTA. We will also be organizing other events concerning business and laws, and the young business leaders, as well as high-tech industry. Currently, we're about 2 months away from this summit. We will be working with MOFCOM and the Guangxi Autonomous Region's government to further enhance the preparatory work so that this will become a successful and useful event to push forward the Belt and Road Initiative and strengthening the China-ASEAN relations. We hope that all of you can attend this summit and expo in Nanning 2 months later. Now let's give the floor to Mr. Zhou Hongbo. Friends from the press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, on behalf of the host of CA Expo in Kabis, that is Guangxi Autonomous Region, I thank you for your support for the preparation of the expo. The car expo in Kabis in the past few years has become an important name card for the Guangxi Autonomous Region and has played an important role in strengthening Belt and Road Initiative and strengthening the China-ASEAN relations. Altogether, 83 national leaders have attended this the past expos and summits, and ministers and business leaders in the thousands have also been active participants of these events. It has also strengthened the construction of FTA. This year marks the 10th anniversary for the construction of FTA, and altogether more than 820,000 exhibitors have attended the trade fairs of the FTA, making remarkable efforts and promoting the development of the free trade zone. We also have strengthened our cooperation on multiple fronts. We altogether have held more than 200 meetings and forums covering 40 fields. So this is a very full-fledged set of forums and discussions and dialogue platforms. And we have reached a major agreement in terms of big projects. The 17th Car Expo and CARBIS will be held on November the 27th. So here are some of the characteristics of these events. First, in order to cope with COVID-19, this forum and expo will be held both online and offline, and this is a combination for online exhibition that is especially designed for the foreign exhibitors. We will also be inviting Chinese leaders and special partners to speak online. We will also be setting up the environment, the exhibition hall, and the International Exhibition Hall of Nanning. This year marks this 45th anniversary for China, for the establishment of diplomatic ties with Thailand, and events will also be held to commemorate such a special day. So for the first time, we'll also be setting up a special exhibition zone for the Greater Bay Area. And the Belt and Road Special Exhibition Hall, in order to facilitate the participation from exhibitors from both inside and outside the country. 8 high-level forums will also be held in fields such as agriculture, environment, medicine, and health, and environment protection. We'll continue to upgrade our services. And Alibaba Group will be opening up an 65-day exhibition forum to facilitate this online business negotiations between exhibitors and investors in order to achieve better benefits. So this is a combination of online and offline activities. The online activities will be helping the exhibitors who cannot be there in person to participate in it. We'll also be strengthening the cooperation in the digital front. Friends from the press, this is a special event held at against a special backdrop. And coming up, we'll continue to be working with MOFCOM and CCPIT to continue to coordinate this preparation for the CARBIS and Car Expo in order to better serve the trade relations and the building and enhancing of Belt and Road relations. I'd like to take this opportunity to send the sincerest invitation to all of you. We welcome all of you to attend the Car Expo by then. We look forward to meeting you. Now the floor is open to questions. Thank you with CMG and CCTV. This year marks the 10th anniversary for the establishment of the free trade zone. So what kind of achievement have we made? What functions does it play in terms of the prevention and control of COVID-19? Thank you for the question. This year marks the 10th anniversary of the free trade zone. In the past 10 years, it has effectively boosted the trade and investment liberalization and has ushered in a golden era for bilateral relations, and the trade volume grew from 200 billion yuan to about 640 billion yuan. And investment structures is also reaching a balance. We have set up 25 trade cooperative zone. ASEAN became the second biggest trade partner last year, and this year it became the biggest trade partner with China. The China ASEAN free trade zone has become the most vibrant free trade area in the world. In May the 25th this year, we jointly published this joint declaration in strengthening economic cooperation and fight the COVID-19 and eradicate the negative impact of COVID-19. We commit to join hand to conduct cooperation at all fronts, and has commended the positive functions played by the FTZ in the past years. Coming up, we will be working with our partners of ASEAN to continue to act according to the FTA agreement in order to strengthen our cooperation in containing COVID-19 and boost regional trade and investment development and contribute to economic resurrection after this outbreak. Against the backdrop of COVID-19 outbreak, the central government still maintained that Sky Expo is a level 1 exhibition because it has on its shoulder major economic and diplomatic responsibilities on its shoulder. So how do you guarantee that this is a safe and healthy event and for all the participants? Thank you. In order to ensure the safest event, we attach great importance to the deployment of the central government, and we are acting according to the State Council's requirement in terms of the normalization of containing COVID-19. The MOFCOM, the Ministry of Public Security, and Ministry of Health have given specific instructions in terms of containing COVID-19. We will be doing all the preparation according to these instructions and the major documents. We have a special working group to supervise the COVID-19 prevention and control work in this regard. We have established this joint prevention control mechanism to prevent the imported cases so that we can realize early discovery, early response, and early handling so as to prevent it from further spreading, and in order to make sure that this is a safe event for all the participants. Besides, we also have organize events in both online and offline platforms. We will be inviting Chinese leaders, foreign envoys, and leaders from other ASEAN countries to speak in online forums. We've taken notice that we have this online platform. And what kind of services do this online platform provide? Thank you for your interest in the online platform. This is the first and only cross-region international expo that is held both online and offline. This is to serve the purpose to facilitate China ASEAN community building and a special measure taken against the backdrop of containing COVID-19 and the strengthening of digital economy on both sides. And it's a special requirement for us to boost economic development and trade relations from the two sides, and will further help us to construct new diplomatic relations. And there's a special methods taken to ensure the safety of all the participants. We have special structures serving the following purposes. First, we have an online exhibition hall to connect the investors, the exhibitors, and the businesses. We have multiple user interface to connect these stakeholders. Online platforms will also be provided to facilitate international conferences to connect the supply with demand. Bilateral and multilateral negotiations can be carried out through this platform. It will also help us to further integrate the value chain and industrial chain. And online streaming will be an important method during the convocation of such an expo. We also provide this cross-border e-commerce platform to connect these exporters from China and importers from foreign countries. And it is equipped with the security system of the highest level. All the data and information will be property protected by financial level security software and equipment. With Phoenix TV, so can you tell us more about the progress in terms of SET? We are promoting this paperwork at this current stage so that we can sign this agreement by the end of this year. However, against the backdrop of COVID-19, the industrial chain, the supply chain are facing major challenges. So an early signature of such an agreement will help us to stabilize the regional economy and trade relations. We will continue to support the ASEAN countries' position in this contract, and we will be working on all fronts in order to promote the signature of such an agreement. ASEAN has become, for the first time, the biggest trade partner of China. What kind of roles will Car Expo and CABIS play in future cooperation and trade relations between China and ASEAN countries? We can see that China and ASEAN cooperation is entering into a new golden age, a new 10 years. This is a testimony of our achievement made in the past 10 years. China and ASEAN are without a doubt major and important trading partners to each other. Even against this backdrop of the outbreak of COVID-19, China and ASEAN countries are committed to free trade principles and multilateralism in order to maintain close relationship in terms of trade and investment and personnel exchanges, which is a major boost for our strategic cooperative partnership and has introduced new momentum to the improvement of well-being. CCPIT will continue to emphasize Car Expo's function in promoting bilateral trade relations and will be building more pragmatic platforms to connect all the stakeholders. Besides this year's Expo, CCPIT will continue to work closely with our partners in ASEAN and to discover more common grounds in order to discover and create better cooperative results. And here are some of the work we are focusing on. First is to build this online platform in cloud to facilitate the communication between businesses and investors, and to discuss matters such as AI and life sciences in order to promote cooperation in wider and deeper grounds. We are aiming at creating a new development momentum, both domestically and at the regional level. Second, we will be strengthening the construction of FTA Service Center. The CCPIT since this year have already built 55 FTA local service centers and 11 free trade zone service centers to provide business and legal services to the businesses and investors. The Guangxi corporate free trade area has been running for a year and has fulfilled all the pilot tasks. And this will serve as an best example to further expand our trade relations in the future. And CCPIT will set up this service center of free trade zone in Guangxi autonomous region in order to strengthen the publicity of policies and training of personnel in order for the businesses to make full use of the free trade agreement and all the other relevant policies. We'll also be strengthening cooperation between China and other ASEAN countries in terms of business and legal services. We've been held 5 cooperative platforms on business and legal matters, which is a great enrichment to our cooperation in this regard, and we'll continue this effort this year to provide services in terms of dispute settlement and risk prevention. We'll also be using this opportunity to build this legal and business affairs mechanism to help with the settlement of disputes. What kind of cooperation does Guangxi have in terms of the prevention of COVID-19? Since the outbreak of COVID-19, Guangxi and ASEAN countries are working together to fight this epidemic. Countries such as Vietnam, Thailand, and Singapore and governments and business commerce have donated masks and thermometers, and the total volume is about 7 million RMB. We also received multiple batches of disposable surgery masks and N95 masks and medical gloves, as well as PPEs. And altogether, they valued about 11 million RMB. Guangxi Autonomous Region also shares its experiences in containing COVID-19 with other ASEAN countries. We allocated 1 medical team to help them with their medical efforts. Coming up, we will be strengthening our cooperation in this front in the following aspects. First, strengthen this new channel of trade relations, which is an historical move in strengthening our relations with ASEAN countries. Therefore, the new projects of this new channel is already in the pipeline. This cross-border train has also been opened up, and this construction of China ASEAN Cooperative Park is being constructed. We're also strengthening our cooperation in railway and highways, as well as shipping channels and airlines. We do all of those to provide the best services of the highest efficacy and efficiency in trade. Second is to strengthen the construction of Guangxi Free Trade Area. We are in full support of the construction of the free trade area. In the past year, we're building new models to help with the clearance of goods, and the efficiency has been improved by 75%. We're also helping to promote the internationalization of RMB and the RMB settlement mechanism. Coming up, Guangxi Autonomous Region will continue with the innovation in terms of policy, mechanism, and institutions, and we will be using our experiences in constructing and building the free trade area and to build platforms to strengthen our services to promote trade, and three, to deepen communication in the humanity level, such as education, culture, and tourism. And we are aiming at building this joint university of ASEAN and China. And a cross-border tourism mechanism will also be built between China and Vietnam. 4, we will be promoting post-COVID-19 cooperation. We are going to strengthen our cooperation in health care and medical treatment, in trade, and supply chain, and infrastructure construction. We will be prioritizing and optimizing our mechanism in order to consolidate the current achievement. The free trade area is expected to witness the signature of a major contract. As the most important pilot field in terms of this regional development, what expectations do you have after the signature of this agreement? According to the past practices, we are making major arrangement during this Expo and CABIS to help the businesses to know better about the policies and the business environment of the two sides. We'll also be holding seminars to give you a clearer vision of the future aspect and potential fields. We will be pulling wisdoms and insights together to further strengthen cooperation and expand our thoughts and to discover more potential fields of cooperation. We welcome all of you to attend this year's events and seminars during the Expo and CABIS. We believe that these events will further help us to form better policies and will also facilitate the businesses to understand more about the investment environment from both sides. I want to add some points to that. As Mr. Li Chenggang has mentioned, during the Expo, CCPIT will also be organizing events and forums to help the Chinese businesses to understand better about the progresses of the free trade area and other provincial policies. Each year, it is not only during the convocation of Expo, we also hold forums to inform the businesses about the provincial policies of the free trade areas and help them to find ways to participate in the construction of free trade areas if possible. And this has become a normalized mechanism and has seen major fruitful achievement in the past years. Second, in terms of information disclosure, the CCPIT will continue to disclose information related to the construction of FTA and other information related to business and investment. And hopefully through CCPIT, the businesses can have the first-hand and the most in-time information that they needed so that they can discover business opportunities of their own. Three, we will also be providing commerce and legal services, legal affairs services. We will be holding seminars to help the business to know more about possible risks and points of disputes. This kind of legal service platform will help them to settle the disputes that may happen during the transaction and trade relations. This year, we're witnessing major setbacks in terms of global trade. However, the China-ASEAN trade seems very positive trend. And so what are your expectations for future development in this regard? In the first 8 months, China-ASEAN export and import volumes are both realized positive growth rate, and ASEAN this year has become the biggest trade partner of China, which is a major manifest of the great potential for trade relations of the both sides. I think this is thanks to the past our efforts in the past years, and especially this year. We are linked by waters and land. We are very close to each other. We're close neighbors. The bilateral trades in the past years has brought major benefit and welfare to the people on two sides, and it's a solid foundation for us to continue these efforts in the future. And second, the construction of FTA set up a major and favorable environment for the development of the bilateral trade, and the FTA protocol will continue to lower this barrier for cooperation and market access. And 3, with COVID-19, the global economy is suffered greatly. However, the China and ASEAN countries are working hand in hand to minimize the impact. We have built this fast access to facilitate personnel exchanges, and the express and grain channels are also built to protect the stability of the value chain and industry chain and supply chain. These are some of the highlights that we have witnessed this year, and these are also the reason why we have seen such a major development this year. And coming up, we will continue to advance our efforts and cooperation in the following 3 aspects. First, strengthen our cooperation in containing COVID-19, which is still a major impact, a major event across the globe. We will be sharing our experiences in containing COVID-19 with relevant countries and guarantee a sufficient supply in fighting COVID-19, strengthen our production in this regard, and stabilize the industrial chain and supply chain in this regard, and strengthen the technological transfer that is deemed necessary. Second, we will be continue to promote the connection of BRI with that of the national strategies in other countries. And we will continue to expand the cooperation in e-commerce, cross-border, especially cross-border e-commerce and digital economy. We'll be strengthening our support for SMEs. 3, we will be further advancing the regional integration in economy. We have already set up this Lancang-Mekong Economic Cooperation Zone. We'll also be working within this multilateral framework of the WTO and fight against unilateralism. China is to work with the ASEAN countries to jointly host this CA Expo and make sure that it's a successful event for all the participants.